Guys, what's going on? It is Friday, 17th of January, 9:09 p.m. Just finished putting the little one down, and I have almost finished the book, The Obstacle is the Way, by Ryan Holiday. And it's a book that is basically written by Ryan about some of his perceptions around obstacles using Stoicism. And there are three things from that book that I'd really like to speak about, and why I think it reflects heavily into video production, being a video agency owner, being a video freelancer, and how it can help you. It's definitely giving me a lot of food for thought about how I can coach better and how I can coach students better. So let's go into it. So number one is perception. Perception is really interesting because it's the foundation on how you actually frame a problem or like perceive obstacles. So, whether you're having problems with like client acquisition, pricing, creative burnout, or anything like that. It's about how you look at the solution that is going to determine how well you handle it. So, there was times when I was running Otter where like we would have really quiet months and there was a feast or famine stage, right? And I was like, fuck, man, it's been like 2 months pretty quiet. What do we do? Like, this isn't good. And then like it would pick back up again. And I was like, oh, this is great. Fantastic. And then then it would dip again, right? And that was very normal. That was like very much up and down, ebbs and flows, peaks and troughs. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to stop looking at this obstacle, this thing, and like, I'm not going to keep avoiding it. I'm not going to keep burying my head and just accepting that that's how this is. Because it never felt right. It didn't, I was looking at it thinking, surely this isn't the way that you run a video company. Surely there's more to it than just having shit months and it being shit sometimes. Surely there's things I can be doing to improve this situation. So I did, like, having to go through that pain, I realized that I needed to shift my perception of the problem, shift my perception of the obstacle, and that obstacle being client acquisition. So I started to read more. I started to read a lot of fucking books, a lot of marketing books. I started taking a lot of marketing courses. I did like a government sponsored MBA. I did every single Alex Hormozi course you could think of, loads of things on YouTube, Dan Kennedy, Ogilvy, Seth Godin, Hormozi, I just read so many marketing books, and I just started putting things into place. I just started trying stuff. Instead of just accepting that this was the reality, I just started doing stuff. And lo and behold, my perception of that problem changed fairly quickly. Like, it didn't become a problem much longer. And when problems of client acquisition arose then in the future, I would just look to solve it. I wouldn't look to think, oh, this is how it is. I would just look to solve it. It wasn't a roadblock anymore, right? And that leads me like really well into the next point of the book, which is action, like taking effective, purposeful action, like admit, like, even when you're going through adversity, even when it's like fucking hard, you still just get up and take action. Um, and I think that's really fucking important. It's like, I guess it's like the will of a fighter. Like, you're getting smacked in the face. Maybe you're in a fucking chokehold. Someone's like kicking the shit out of you, throwing your head against a cage, and you're thinking, this sucks. But like, you've got two options. You can either tap out, or you can just take some purposeful action and start kicking the shit out of the other guy and thinking, okay, what can I do to improve my situation here? What can I do to better myself? What can I do to actually make this situation better? Even when you're faced with setbacks, it's like you can work your way out of it most of the time. So like, there was a lot of times when I was running Otter, for example, where it was very much like, I don't know how I'm going to cope with how much work we have on. Like, we had so much post, right? Or we would have so much pre-production to get done for this job in just such a little time frame. And like, if you stop to think about it, you would just hit analysis paralysis. You would just go into mental masturbation. You would just like, fuck, you just become paralyzed by you just not knowing like where to start because there's so much to do. You're like, fuck, where do I begin? I've got like 16 jobs to do. And like, the best way to get out of that is just to fucking start. Just take action, right? Just see it like, okay, this is the obstacle. I can go around it and avoid doing it. I could like go under it and maybe delegate it to some of my team members, or I could just fucking tackle this problem head on and get it done. And like that's sometimes what it requires in entrepreneurship is you just have to have that get it done mentality. That mentality just to say, fuck it. I don't care how long this is going to take. I'm going to fucking get this. I'm going to get it over the line. It's not going to be a problem anymore. And then you just do it. And then like 9 times out of 10 as well, it takes way less time than your brain thinks it was going to take. Because as soon as you start making little wins, like at those 16 jobs, once I'd done 1, 2, or 3 of those jobs, I was like, fuck, man, I'm nearly a quarter of the way through. I'll just keep smashing this out. Um, and this ironically, I've done this really well. This builds me on to my third point, which is will. Like you have to have the will to take action, and you have to have the will to change your perception on things. So like will for me is like the building of resilience and inner strength. So it's focusing on perseverance and self-control and discipline. And I've I've definitely gone through ironically peaks and troughs in my life of discipline where like, and I'm sure this is like similar for loads of people. I've gone through peaks and troughs in my life where like I've applied way more discipline to things, and then other times I just haven't applied enough discipline. Like when I started Otter, I was super disciplined. Like every evening and weekend after running a 9 to 5, me and Dan would meet up and we'd fucking hustle on trying to get this company together. And we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't have a coach, didn't have a mentor. We were just literally chucking shit against the wall and seeing what stuck. And it was just this like time of I've just been disciplined on it, right? And then I remember the keto for 6 months and I was disciplined to fucking that, lost loads of weight, and then I would come out of keto and then put weight back on again because I wasn't in that disciplined mindset. And I would go through like little stages like that. And then I hired a fitness coach and I worked with him for a year. His name was Sam, really great guy. And I got in like really good shape. And then I came out of the fitness coach and my discipline dropped, right? And it's like will and discipline and self-control and perseverance are like resilience, for example, is one of my best traits, I think. I think like I'm a very good communicator and I think I have a good ability to make people laugh, which I think is really handy for building relationships, like really fucking good. But going through like some really fucking hard times in 2024, some really eye-opening times, some humbling times for me was like it taught me that I'm actually way more fucking resilient than I actually realized. And like there was a trend going around about a month ago where you could say the ChatGPT, like based on what you know about me, give me a description of myself. And it was like one of the things it says, like, you're very resilient. You don't give up. You just keep looking for solutions. And I don't know, man, hearing an LLM, like an AI bot, just say you're resilient and it explain why. And then thinking about all the things that I'd been through that year, I was like, fuck, man, that's true. I actually believe that. I actually do believe I'm quite resilient. Instead of just thinking about all the times I've need to be resilient and haven't and thinking I wasn't, I started to think about all the times that I did put that fucking hat on and I gritted through it and I got it done. And resilience is one of the best skills you can have as an entrepreneur because literally, like, entrepreneurship, being a business owner, it's not about who the smartest person is. It's not about who has the most skill. It is literally a battle of wills. Who is willing to stick it out the longest, right? It's like people who win the 220-mile fucking runs in Heat and Death Valley, right? It's not who is the best runner, who is the best ultra marathon runner, who's been running the longest. It's none of that. It's literally who is willing to take the fucking heat and the pain the longest. Who is willing not to eat the most glass, but to eat glass for the longest time. That's what being an entrepreneur means, is like you just never, ever fucking give up. You just don't. You just keep going. And when that entrepreneurial journey of yours, like it pivots and like maybe you leave your company or you sell your company and you go do something else, you just eat a different piece of glass. It's just different glass. But you're still eating glass. You're still going through shit. Don't get me wrong. Being an entrepreneur it's always going to be 1,000 times better than a 9 to 5. And in my opinion, a 9 to 5, when you have an inherent dream, is harder because you wake up every day and this isn't what you should be doing. And eventually you get so far into a 9 to 5, you get mortgage, you get kids, you get financial burdens that you can't get out of it very easily. And the burden becomes so great that you never do. For me, that's harder. Like the men back in like the 50s and 60s who used to have to fucking get up and work in asbestos factories. And that was their only choice. That's fucking hard. You have a choice. We have a choice in today's world. We live in a digital age where you can literally start a company online, grow an audience. Doesn't even have to be big. Just start generating leads, start helping people, start charging for it. And you can create an abundance of life. And you don't like, this is the fucking crazy thing if you live in the West. You don't even need to make insane amounts of wealth. Like if you had made a couple of $100,000 a year, you would live like the 1%. And a couple of $100,000 a year, like it's so fucking achievable. Like it's 16 grand a month. That's 2 grand a month retainers. Like, yeah, you might have to hire 1 or 2 employees to help you with the delivery, but like in terms of scalability, that's still fucking like so low in terms of what businesses can achieve. You think about billion-dollar companies, what they're doing, and the amount of wealth they're amassing. Like this is child's play. And the reason you don't think so is because of a mindset problem. When I joined my coaching program in October, I did it because I wanted to get close to my mentor Jeremy, and I also wanted to learn how to be a really fucking good coach. Because if I was going to go into coaching, I wasn't going to be just every other fucking coach on Instagram who says they can teach you this and they haven't done it. I've done it. I've done this, and if I'm going to come into coaching, I want to be like top 1%, like one of the best fucking coaches. No bullshit, no fluff. I will tell you exactly how it is, and I'll fucking help you. And I wanted to come into that and just demolish it. That's why I brought a coach on. And I also wanted to be around the people in the community. And some of these guys in the community are doing 50, 60, 70, 100, 150K a month. And I knew that I needed to be around people like that to change my perception on what's possible. And it worked. Within 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, yeah, this is the sort of level I need to be at. And this is the sort of impact I need to have in the world. That was a massive tangent from Will, but it's just like I have this resilience in me and this sheer just fucking drive to excel, just to never, if I'm stood still, I'm dying. I have to always be moving forward. Sometimes I wish I could turn that part off of me, but I can't. It's just what I'm born with. And I think, if what I'm saying is relatable, if what I'm saying to you is like, like if you're stuck in a 9 to 5 and you just want to be doing full-time creativeness, you just want to be doing full-time filming, videography, photography, design, whatever the fuck it is, this is what your heart desires, and you could get up and you could bang 12, 14 hours days of it because you just fucking love it. Do not give up on your dreams. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. You put me in a 9 to 5, I'll be tired after 5 hours. You put me in coaching, like something I'm finding really fulfilling, I can do 12, 14 hours. I started work at 7 a.m. this morning. It's now 9:22. Don't get me wrong. I've been to the gym. I've had dinner. I've put my child to sleep. But I come back and I recorded this video because I fucking wanted to, because I'm fired up, because I just want to. This is all I want to do with my time, is just help people and put decent content out that's going to actually help them shift fucking beliefs. Because the difference between who you are right now and who you want to become, it's simply one thing. It's a mindset shift. You just need to believe that it's fucking possible, and I'm here to tell you it is. Whether you hire me as a coach or someone else, find a coach you think is pretty fucking reputable and work with them. If they've done what you're trying to do, and you know that for sure, they're not just fucking some scam artist who says, I can help you grow a company. If you know you can look at the history and they've done it, hire them. Hire them, because they will collapse how much time it takes for you to achieve it. This is what coaches do. You can either work it out and pay for that knowledge in time, or you can pay money for a coach and they will collapse that time down for you. So either way, to fix the issue, you pay in money or you pay in time. Now, you haven't got to be a fucking genius to work out. You should always pay for stuff in money, because you can make more. You can't make more time. Neuralink hasn't got that far yet. Well, I've been ranting for 14 minutes. Guys, obstacle is the way, Ryan Holiday. Perception, action, will. Understand what you have and what you don't have, and build on the stuff that you don't. I recommend that you become resilient. I recommend that you do stuff that builds discipline. I'm doing 75 hard, and it's built more discipline for me right now than I could have ever dreamed. I feel pretty fucking locked in, pretty fucking dialed in, and I'm going to continue to do it, because the more disciplined and dialed in I become, I know that I'm going to get better results with people, help more people, and become a better coach. And that's like, fundamentally, that's all I give a shit about. I get 95% of my purpose from my career. And if I'm not a good coach, I'm going to feel like shit. Okay, guys, signing off. I hope you have a absolutely wicked weekend. And I'll try and put another long form out Sunday, maybe Saturday. Who knows? I'll roll the dice. All right, guys. See you soon.